No, there's no shot Shapiro said that. I can't possibly believe that. No
Shapiro
way.
said that. Yeah, he has.
I don't believe you.
Fuentes told me that, and that's a big reason why he doesn't want to debate him, because that comes down to identity politics. If you believe in Israel, and if
Bro,
you're
Nick is one of the
pro-Israel-
biggest identity politics people in the world. What do you mean?
How? What, Christianity?
White nationalism? What do you mean? He talks about race.
He's not a white nationalist, Destiny. He's not. He's a Christian nationalist.
One of the biggest points that he debates is the fundamental changing of the character of the United States after the 1965 Hart-Celler Immigration Act, that it changed the character of the country because we got so many brown people because of stuff like familial immigration. This is one of his biggest talking points. Go and ask him that if he could restrict immigration from non-white people, would he do it? He's going to tell you yes, that this country should look more like white Christian people. Ask him about the founding stock of America. Ask him about what the founders intended the United States to look like in terms of like racial demeanor. You should, seriously, like ask him. These aren't even like tricky questions. Just ask him what he'll say. Well, like, what do you think? If he thinks that like black and brown people intrinsically have like lower IQ than white people, why would he even want him here?
Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense if the fact that he's the communications director for the first dark-skinned, that first like actual black president ever, that doesn't make sense.
A
like,
black guy that's talking about how much he loves Hitler? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't.
Wouldn't that make? Doesn't that actually make perfect sense? Doesn't that make more sense than literally anything else in the world? Isn't that the perfect thing that makes sense?
Okay, if he wants the country to be perfectly white, then he wouldn't be the communications director for the first black president.
Do you think there's anybody that is as popular as Kanye that Nick Fuentes could work with right now?
Trump.
I don't think Trump wants to work with Fuentes. Didn't Trump publicly disavow Fuentes?
He disavowed him, but at the dinner he said he was really impressed with Nick, and he said that Nick's really smart. He was complimenting him a lot.
Yeah, but he was complimenting him like...
After the GOP was disavowing him, he was like, oh, this guy, I don't really think he actually disavowed him. He just said he didn't know. He didn't know that Fuentes was showing up.
He didn't know anything about Fuentes. Fuentes probably showed up and was well-spoken, and Trump, being Trump, was like, oh yeah, he seems like a nice kid.
He knew about Fuentes. He put the face to that guy's name. He knew that he was leading some of the Stop the Steal, and he was at January 6th, but he didn't know exactly who the person was. But he was impressed with him, and I think that in another circumstance, Trump would benefit greatly from having Fuentes on. But basically, the point is like the fake news mob is very strong, and now it's happening. I mean, it happened to you too, and I'm surprised you didn't shift at all, especially like when. I mean, I'll go back to us getting played in the Senate, but they completely have a monolith on groupthink, and look, like it's affected my personal life. Like now I'm at the point where now I'm streaming on Christmas, talking to you, because a lot of people in my personal life, they're like, I'm racist, they don't want to associate with me. But that essentially, if you go down, it comes from a place of love. It's love speech, loving everybody. I don't love
blaming the Jews and talking about how the Holocaust is not real is not coming from a place of loving everybody.
I don't agree with that. That's not what I believe.
That's fine if you don't agree with that, but that's what Fuentes talks about. That's what Kanye's been talking about. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. That's what they're saying, and that's what people are reacting and responding to.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's your predictions for that campaign?
For what, Ye's campaign?
Yeah.
I think he'll get bored and drop it in a month or two. But I could be wrong. But that's what he did last time he was running for president.
Do you think how do you think it's going to change public discourse? Because nobody's talked about this. There's nobody been that vocal about Jews since Hitler.
I mean, it's making everybody a lot more worried about like anti-Semitic shit in the United States, so it's having that impact at least. But like in terms of lasting changes and shit, I have no idea. I don't know. None of the like anti-Holocaust stuff. None of that gives you pause for concern or anything.
I understand questioning it. I understand people's apprehension, the fact that you have to say 6 million, you have to say 6 million. But one of the statements that triggers me, and I don't get triggered often, but like saying, I don't care about your dead grandma, or I don't care about your dead, like these people are still alive, you know? There's people that survived it that are still around to this day. I think that's a bit insensitive. And even a lot of people in my chat would disagree with that. But imagine going up to a black person and saying, I don't care about your dead slave family. I think it's the same thing.
Okay. Jeez. Damn.
Geez, what? Your factory game?
No, just just the wild path your life has taken. It's just
Yeah, it's been a lot since I first spoke to you. Like it's been a wild year. Like what have your end of year reflections? But this has been by far the craziest year of my life. Like I've been doing a lot of reflecting, thinking back. Like when I first spoke to you, I was a brokey in Brooklyn, just like kind of talking a bit, like still doing YouTube stuff like that. Since I first talked to you, I've met Andrew Tate, I've met Ye, part of this. Like woke mob came after me, canceled by big tech. Distance myself from like a lot of people don't want to associate with me anymore. It's been by far the most wild year of my life, and part of like that first conversation was like the first domino. But to end up here now, it's like anybody in your chat too. Can you like imagine being in that position? Like what's your end of year reflections? Like you've been streaming for a long time. Is this been an abnormal year? Or is this regular?
I mean, every year gets a little bit more crazy than the last. It's just kind of how it goes. I'm just curious, and I'm not like saying, because I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you think I'm wrong and I think you're wrong, which is fine. I understand the difference in opinion. But like, do you ever worry, or what do you do personally to like keep yourself from falling down just like a really bad hole of like, I might be completely wrong on everything, and like realizing that like too late? Do you ever worry about that? Or do you ever think about that?
No, never. Wrong about what?
Anything, everything?
Name what's one thing that you think that I could consider being wrong about?
It's not so much like disagreeing about a particular thing. So like for me personally, one of the biggest fears that I have in life, because I'm a streamer, so I have a fan base that has a vested interest in, and I could have a vested interest in having a certain political opinion, right? Have you ever heard of the term audience capture?
No.
Audience capture is like, let's say that I give a whole bunch of like ultra blue pill takes like all day, every day. Well, what's going to happen is my audience is going to come to expect me to say that. And so what if I run into a problem in the future to where like I want to give a political take about something and I don't agree with the blue pill shit, but now I feel like I'm forced to because like my audience wants me to. Yeah, that's called audience capture.
Oh no, I have that all the time. I go back and forth my chat. My chat's saying like Walaban, W-Taliban, Whitler every single day. I had a Jewish woman on yesterday, and like the chat was just a lot of it's trolling because Rumble's a free speech platform, so people are able to say whatever the they want. But like people are, you know, being like she's a Satanist, she's the devil, she's a succubus, and I openly disagree with them on that. But I think it's good to have back and forth. And I don't think that's ever going to happen because part of my brand is being able to learn and to add information, to go back and forth, and to change my opinion about things. I like to actively grow and learn on my streams. I don't see myself getting myself boxed in there, and I don't think I hold any like hardcore. If you look like to the core of my beliefs, it's like I try to follow God, and I don't trust people who want to control me. So our first discussion was about how much we trust the government. You trust the government, and I don't. Ultimately my worldview is down to the fact that people who want to keep me controlled and people who want more money do not have the best interests of the population in mind. They want us to be controlled, and they want to keep us as pawns. And I don't see myself ever changing that belief because that just makes sense if you look where the money goes. That's where you find the truth. If you follow the money, you can see where the truth lies, and I don't see that ever changing.
Okay, so do you mind if can I ask you a hard question or hard questions? Yeah, I'm not. This is gonna sound like I'm grilling you, but I'm truly just interested. Okay. Do you believe me when I say that, or do you not believe me?
About audience capture?
No. That I'm like, because there's two ways, and I can understand, especially at this point, because of how different we are, especially politically. Like, you can either think I'm asking questions because I'm interested, or you think I'm asking questions because I'm trying to get like a dunk from my audience to like your.
No, I think right now I think you're genuinely interested. This is like a.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. All right, just curious. Okay, so. This is like a problem that I have from my perspective when people usually say this thing like, oh, we just need to like, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. That's like a really common thing that I hear a lot. Okay. I think that just asking questions and doing your own research, I think that those are two things that are actually really good. I think those are amazingly good things to do. But the issue that I run into is that every time people talk about like doing their own research or asking questions, they don't actually do any research. They just kind of like listen to like a podcast person, or they just like take somebody's word for it, or they watch like maybe one YouTube video that's like highly conspiratorial.
What's your definition of research? Like academic articles?
Sure, like reading a variety of articles, like getting a variety of news sources, like seeing like, well, what is the mainstream, what does the alternative media have to say, what does a historian have to say, what does an expert have to say, what do people on the ground have to say, like getting like a variety of sources based on something.
That's what I do. I professionally interview people. I interview people on the street. I have debates with people regularly, people like you, people who believe in antidepressants. taken a lot of different information. I challenge my beliefs consistently, way